All right, folks, welcome back into another Mancast number 26. Tonight we are doing the NFC 2023 prognostication. Yes, that is a big word. We chose that word because it's better than prediction. It actually is synonymous to prophecy. And right here I hold before you in my big hands, not little tiny, not from China hands, but my big hands, my prognostication hands, hold for you everything you need to know about the NFC today. And with that, I'm going to kick it over to my boy Ed. And our friend Adam is joining us today. What say you, fellas?
All right. So let's start with this. First off, I'm glad you don't have them small little Trump hands because you don't need that going on. Because we know how that works out. We are here to talk about football, and it is a big word, prognostication, which I prefer to use too. I think that's a great word to use. This gentleman beside me is Adam Hogenboom, who is related to, if you remember, Gary Hogenboom, the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys at one point.
Yes, sir.
So, and we saw how well Gary did, so I'm assuming Adam doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about either.
Look, I might know a couple of things, but we'll see. We'll see.
All right, we're starting with the NFC North. So I'm going to jump right into that. I'm going to go starting with the Lions. And I think that the Detroit Lions are actually going to win the division this year. Not only were they really good last year and they finished the season really, really strong, and Jared Goff has total command of that offense, and they have a lot of weapons. Their defense, it was top 10 last year. But more than that, this is who they drafted. Jahmyr Gibbs at running back, who I thought was probably the best running back coming off the board, or at least the second best running back coming off the board. He's going to have a great year. I don't have any doubt about that. Jack Campbell at linebacker, Sam Laporta at tight end, and they need a tight end, a go-to tight end. That kid was amazing. And they got Brian Branch, who both of us had in the first round as the best non-cornerback DB in the game. That's what they added to a team who was on the verge of making the playoffs anyway. I'm picking them to go number one. Number two will be the Vikings, and the reason I'm picking the Vikings, not coming in first but coming in second, is because they had a year to see this new offense that they were working with. Justin Jefferson is a monster. Kirk is great in the regular season, puts up great numbers. It's going to be really close, but I think it's going to come down to who has a better divisional record, and I think it's going to be the Lions this year. Third, I got the Bears because I think Justin Fields is going to make a huge step forward. I absolutely do. And they're not playoff bound or anything like that, but they're going to improve, and they did well in the draft. And there is no love in Green Bay. I think Green Bay is in rebuild mode, and they're looking at maybe 5 wins at best. So that's how I got the North. Adam, you're up, bro.
I will say I agree on 3 and 4, but I got Vikings taking first in the North this season. I don't think postseason or in the season, I don't think there's any stopping Kirk Cousins. Justin Jefferson, I think it's a great duo, and I think they are going to take over the North. Every other reason he said on the line, so I definitely agree. Lions are going to be number 2, and I think they will make the playoffs in the wild card, but they're definitely not going to take over. Same thing, Bears 3 and Packers 4. I don't think Love's going to do anything super special in Green Bay. I think it's going to kind of be the rebuild, and I mean, they lost Alan Lazard, obviously Aaron Rodgers. I don't think they're going to do anything super special this season. And Bears at 3, I think Fields will be all right, but I don't think it's going to be anything super crazy like everyone else is predicting.
He ran for 1,000 yards last year, which is spectacular. So.
True story. Yeah. Well, for me, coming fresh off of watching that whole docuseries, the quarterback, I was so pumped up for Kirk Cousins that I was like, yeah, Vikings, yeah, they're going to be. And then I started really thinking about it again, and I'm like, probably need to calm myself. And the Vikings won 11 of their games last season, 11 of 13 by 1 score. That's right. An NFL record.
Yes.
So they were right on the edge. I think they're going to go 10-7, and I think they'll actually be just behind the Lions. I think the Lions are going to get the win for the division at 10-7 as well, though. I think they'll have a tie, but I think the Lions will have the tiebreaker with the division wins. And I don't think the Vikings are going to make the playoffs, unfortunately. I think they'll be in the wild card hunt, but they'll be just outside of that. But again, both of those teams 10-7, Lions sneaking ahead. I have the Packers at 6-11, and then the Bears at the very bottom, of course, at 5-12. So we're a little different there too. But one game isn't really that much difference. They're both at the bottom of the barrel between the Packers and the Bears. So as far as the Lions, though, the reason why I think they're going to take the lead in this division is because, first of all, Jared Goff is legit. If
For sure, absolutely.
if
He's already been to a Super Bowl
his
with the Rams.
amen, and he's gunsling with Pat Mahomes and some of the best. The only thing that would make him better is if his parents would have named him Jack. I would have really appreciated that, because
We've had
having
this
a quarterback
conversation before, and that would be the coolest name of all time. What's your name? Jack Off.
but also I love Dan Campbell, and I like the Lions. I think they're on a trajectory that's going the right way, man. So with that, do you guys want to jump over to the South?
Oh, we can absolutely jump over to the South.
Let's do it. So I'll go ahead and say I believe taking over the South, Saints are winning it. I don't really have a question about that in my mind. Derek Carr, who we got, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. I really think the Saints are going to be super hot this season, making that playoffs. I don't know how deep in the playoffs they're going to go, but they'll definitely be in. I got Falcons at 2 at 8-9. I got Buccaneers at 3 at 6-11, and I got Panthers at 6-11. I'm a very firm believer right now. This is the make it or break it year for Baker Mayfield. I don't think he's going to do anything special, but look, I'm originally from Oklahoma, so I hope he proves me wrong. Boomer Sooner. I hope he proves me wrong, but I don't think he's going to do anything super special this year. Bryce Young, I don't think he's going to do anything super special, but my prediction with that is I think he's going to have a Trevor Lawrence season. I think he's going to be decent. He's going to put up numbers. He's going to put up touchdowns. I think he's going to be good, but I think give him year 2, he's going to be top 15 quarterback. But I don't think this is the year. He's not going to do anything special this year. He's going to put them in the 4th seed at 6-11.
Sounds good.
All right. So for me, I'm not a whole lot different here. I got to go on New Orleans. Then I have the Panthers actually second. And then the then the Atlanta, and then Tampa Bay. New Orleans only faces four quarterbacks that are top 12 to 15 in the NFL. And those quarterbacks that they face are Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, and Danny Dimes with New York. That's it. Everybody else is a schleb. Their defense is good, so that gives them the advantage. Not only that, Michael Thomas is going to be healthy this year, and Chris Olave proved last year as a rookie he's no joke. Derek Carr is an upgraded quarterback, and even if Derek Carr goes down, they have Winston as the backup who ran the offense last year. They barely missed the playoffs last year, so I think for sure they take this division. Not wildly crazy, like a 9-7 kind of thing. After that, I have Carolina. The only reason that I picked Carolina second is because I just think Atlanta is much trashier than people think they are, because they have no quarterback and they have nobody to throw to. Now, while they picked up Bijan Robinson, who's probably going to have a phenomenal season, he's all they have. So I think Carolina, I think Bryce Young, I think they're going to do a lot of moving pocket kind of stuff, and they're going to try to get him out into space. It always takes the NFL a little time to adjust to a young guy like that who comes out that has that kid's kind of talent. I don't think he's going to be overwhelming or particularly great, but he's always got, in my estimation, he's only got to win. What do I got here? He's only got to win 7 games, come in second place. Third, I got Atlanta. And then fourth, I have Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay, they went all in to win a Super Bowl a few years ago. All those guys are gone. They are dead in the water. And the only team in the NFC that may be worse than them are the Cardinals.
Well, it sounds like we all agree on who's going to be at the top of this heap, but Ed and I actually, you and I, we really do pretty well agree on all of this. I have the Saints at 10-7 winning the division. The Panthers at 8-9, just behind them. Falcons also at 8-9, but the tiebreaker going to the Panthers, and the Bucs at 5-12. For me, the Saints, they've obviously improved at quarterback with Derek Carr. I'm so familiar with Derek Carr as a Chiefs fan, because his entire career I've been like laser focused on. And I don't think he's the guy. I think he's a good guy. I think he's almost like very much like a Kirk Cousins. He's going to do you really well, going to put up a lot of numbers in regular season stuff. But when you need somebody with ice in their veins, who's an absolute fucking savage, who can just kill everyone when it needs to be happening, there's that switch you got to hit, and some guys just don't have it. And I just don't think Derek Carr has it. However, I think he's going to lead the Saints to the playoffs, and they're going to have that. They're going to have that South championship.
To be fair to Derek Carr, though, because I've always been a supporter of his. Derek Carr was in one of the most dysfunctional franchises in the NFL. It'll be very interesting to see what he could do in a supportive system that doesn't have the kind of weird, crazy, dysfunctional shit going on all the time like the Raiders do. But if he does not step up, if he can lead this team into the playoffs and win the first round playoff game and get into the divisional playoffs, that's a massive victory for Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints.
I actually, as a Chiefs fan, and he's a Raiders, coming from the Raiders, I actually really like Derek Carr. I've been a fan. He's a stand-up guy. Like, he's just a good dude. His brother as well. They just seem like good guys, and like everybody who you ever hear anything from them, everybody's like, yeah, this is a fucking solid dude. So I wish nothing but the best for him. And I hope he proves me wrong, and I hope he goes and lights it up for the Saints. But nonetheless, we're here to predict, so we'll keep moving. Again, I think the Falcons will be just behind the Panthers, but both at 8 and 9. And I think the Panthers – oh, wait, one more thing I have to say about the Raiders, or about, former Raiders and now Saints. The head coach. The head coach to me is the biggest detriment to the Saints and the biggest detriment to Derek Carr. That's going to be the thing that hurts him. And just like you said, the system and blah, 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 and all that stuff that's hurt Derek Carr. Well, this very much could be the case for the Saints because Dennis Allen is his name. He was there 2012, 2013, 2014, I think it was. 2012 through 2014. He went 4-12, 4-12, 3-13. He's not a good head coach. And I understand maybe he'll have another shot. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. But I don't know. As far as, again, Panthers.
4-12, 4-12, and 3 and whatever.
3-13, right, with a professional team, you would think, right? So anyway, let me fast forward Panthers. I just feel like Bryce Young is going to be better than Baker or anybody else they had last year. And think about this. They just picked up Miles Sanders, running back, who's going to lead Chuba Hubbard. They're going to have a dominant – and they have their O-line is phenomenal. They're going to have a dominant run game. And the Panthers actually have a really great top 10 defense. So I don't know, man. I think they got that. Falcons, like you said, I think they're just behind them. They're number 3. I don't have any trust in Desmond Ridder yet. We'll see. And then the Bucs are just terrible. They were terrible last year with Tom Brady. It'll be even more terrible, if not just as easily terrible at 5-12.
You got to be a pretty goddamn bad football team to make Tom Brady look bad.
I think my thing with the Panthers is I don't think Bryce Young isn't going to do how much. He doesn't have the weapons like DJ Moore now heading off to the Bears. He lost that. I did forget that Miles Sanders now is there, but I just don't. I'm seeing a last place. I see a tie at what did I have 6-11 for Bucs and Panthers, but I see the tie going to the Bucs.
My thing with the Panthers, with Bryce Young, is my biggest concern. And Chad, you and I have discussed this through our draft and everything else. When we talk about the NFL, is his size. This is a 5'8", 5'9" guy who weighs 180 pounds.
Right.
So if they have him out in space, he can do some things. The reason that they're going to win a few games this year is because he's going to beat people in his own division, and they're going to play a last place schedule. So he's going to have some opportunities to win. But how Bryce Young – look, Kyler Murray came into the goddamn league and lit it all up too and looked like a world beater. But then the NFL figured him out, and he's so small and he's bigger than Bryce Young. He's been beat up so bad he's going to miss half the season from last year. So
those are different kids, though, man. Different mindsets.
But I do want to say that I want him to be successful because the more good, successful quarterbacks in the NFL, the better it is for fans of the NFL, which we most certainly are. So I hope Bryce Young does well. I hope C.J. Stroud does well. I hope they both light it up. I hope Richardson in Indianapolis does well. So we'll see how that goes. But
Hell yeah.
I would say, given his size and the fact, as Adam pointed out, he doesn't have a whole lot of help on offense, and their defense may be okay, but he's got no help, and that's a lot to put on a rookie's shoulders.
Again, I think with a phenomenal running game, a fantastic O-line, one of the best in the league, he's gonna be fine. I know he's little and all that, and he's a rookie, but again, I think, and when I say fine, again, I'm saying 8 and 9. I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying he's going to go a little less than 500.
He's not going to win MVP, or not MVP, but Rookie of the Year or anything like that. Like I said, I hope he does well, and I hope he becomes a really good NFL quarterback. It's just historically, except for the very few guys that little at the quarterback position, just don't last very long in the NFL. The talent or otherwise. Because when you're 5'8" and 180 pounds, all you need to do is get blown up a couple of times and it's over.
I like that Trevor Lawrence analogy that you made, Adam. It does seem like that's kind of the trajectory he would be on, but he should only be so lucky, right? Because that's good shit.
That's just kind of what I see, though. I see Trevor Lawrence, his first season, he wasn't awful by any means. He was still a great quarterback. He was still the Trevor Lawrence that everybody knew. But interceptions, losing, things that Trevor
Urban Meyer was his head coach.
Yeah.
His first year.
He just things he wasn't used to, but now he's come out of year 2, and he's he's, in my opinion, top 15 quarterback. I kind of see the same exact thing happening to Bryce Young. I see him having a decent season, but interceptions, losses, all that fun, whatnot. And then year 2 is when he's going to probably shine, and they'll get him some help and get him some weapons.
Yeah, but it's going to be a fun year because there's, it'll be exciting to watch no matter what happens.
For sure.
Right? Even losing ventures, watching that kid run around the field is never a boring time to have, right? So you're not going to lose anything by watching Bryce Young play quarterback.
Hell yeah. So what do you think about the NFC East? As you might sometimes say, the NFC least. No, I'm just kidding. No, this is the powerhouse, bro.
Right. These are the big boys here. All right, I'll take that one. I got the Eagles winning this. Eagles are the cream of the crop in the NFC. They're the best team. And then, of course, what they did in the draft was even the dumbest thing I ever saw. I don't know how. You went to the Super Bowl, played maybe the best Super Bowl game of all time, and against the Chiefs. That you're way ahead of schedule from what anybody had thought at the beginning of the season. And then in the draft, you end up with Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. What in the fuck is that? That's insane, right?
Clean up.
So, and then on top of that, because people forget this, they got Kylie Ringo in the 4th fucking round. What? He's going to start a quarterback. He's better than any corner they got right now. It's weird how some of these kids they drop because somebody leaks something out, right? That may be true or not true. It doesn't even matter. But wow, what a draft. They got so much better. The only thing I could say is I wish that we got a little more offensive line help earlier on. But, man, what they did with that defense to shore up that D-line, it's insane.
They killed it.
They are already loaded on offense between A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. They are –
making it rain, just
chucking
right. Bills up.
And then DeAndre Swift on top of that. This team, I think that they're going to not just win the NFC East, they're going to secure the home field advantage through the playoffs, and everything goes through Philadelphia. I think they're the best team in the NFC, and I don't even think it's a close call. Second, I have the Dallas Cowboys. The reason I'm taking the Cowboys is because other than the Eagles and the 49ers, they probably have the most talented squad on both sides of the ball, man-to-man, in the NFL, or in the NFC, excuse me. But the problem there lies that Dak Prescott is the quarterback. He does not have that killer instinct. He's a numbers guy during the regular season and literally blows chunks every time in the playoffs. He's Tony Romo 2.0. I've said it over and over again. I wish Dak Prescott would marry my daughter. but that doesn't mean he's going to win a Super Bowl, right? I think he's a wonderful young man. He's going to earn a shit ton of money. He's going to be secure for life. He's a great guy, but he is not taking Dallas anywhere in the playoffs. I think they'll make the playoffs, but he's not going anywhere. Then I got the Giants. I think that they're loaded. But they're in much better shape. I love Brian Daboll. What he did last year, he should have been coach of the year. I think what he did with the Giants was absolutely amazing. And he turned Danny Dimes into the quarterback that everybody thought was he could be, and he showed that he could. Now he's got to back it up, and he's got to do it again. Amen. And the Commanders, while their defense is world class, and they have a lot of weapons on offense, Sam Howell, he's a question mark. So what we're going to find out, which I find interesting, Kansas City Chief fan number one, is we're going to find out if Eric Bieniemy actually was as good quarterback, offensive coordinator, quarterback, uptick guy. We're going to find out. If he turns Sam Howell into just a middle-of-the-road quarterback and the Redskins make the playoffs, Commanders make the playoffs this year, that's going to go a long way for him getting a head coaching job somewhere in the NFL. Do I think that's going to happen? Hell if I. I love Ron Rivera, and I love what he's doing in Washington. I love Sam Howell when he played in the ACC in North Carolina, but whether he can make that transfer to the NFL, that's a lot. And he only played in one game last year. He never struck me as the kind of guy that's going to come out of college and be ready to be thrown directly into NFL. If the Redskins would have found a legitimate quarterback, even middle of the road guy, and some were available, and let this kid learn for one more year, I would have put him ahead of the Giants, but I can't do that right now. So I'm on Eagles, Dallas, Giants, Commanders.
I'm probably pretty much going to have the same exact order, a little different on things. I got Eagles at 1 at 13-4. I got Cowboys at 2 at 10-7. Giants at 9-8, and Washington I got at 4 and 13. But
that's gross, dude.
But my thing is, I don't believe Eagles will be the number one team coming out of the NFC. My number one team is coming out of the West. But 13-4, I think they're going to have a couple surprising losses in there, a couple upsets. Nobody expected, but I think it'll happen. Cowboys, another random weird prediction, but I got, for no crazy reason, Dak Prescott's going to get injured this season, and Cooper Rush is going to take over and take Cowboys to second seed and into a playoff spot.
You're going out predicting that Dak Prescott will get injured for his fourth year in a row?
Yep. Cooper Rush taking over. But I mean, the Cowboys are the Cowboys. They got a great team. They got a bunch of weapons, especially on defense between Micah Parsons, Diggs. They just picked up Stephon Gilmore, who used to be a Patriot. As a big Patriots fan, always be a Gilmore fan. He did amazing things for us when he was with us. So I know what he can do and what he will do in Dallas. And then, of course, CeeDee Lamb and everybody there.
Tony Pollard.
Pollard, everybody they got over there. Giants, I'm not yet. I mean, he's great. I think he's good. I'm also a New York hater, due to teams that beat Patriots in the Super Bowl. But I'm not yet a Danny Dimes diehard fan. I'm just not. It is what it is. I need him to do a little bit more to impress me. But, I mean, they still have They still got Saquon and a bunch of other big names. So I think, they'll still have a 9-8 season. And I believe I got them slipping their way into the playoffs as well. And then, Washington, I'm going to the whole Sam Howell thing. They have the weapons, but you can have the weapons all you want. You need the quarterback.
That's right. I agree. And I'll say, by the way, to his New York thing, that if the Giants could play the Patriots 17 times a year, they'd be 17.
Ouch, dude. Getting a little vinegary around here. I've got the Eagles also besting this class. 12-5 though. I think they'll take one game step back from last year. I just think that the competition is deeper, and I actually don't think the Eagles will have the best record in all of the NFC. We'll get there, but I have them at 12-5 and definitely winning their division. Cowboys next up, and I have the Cowboys winning a wild card slot at 11-6. As far as their I just feel like everybody does, like you guys all said, the Cowboys are going to take a step forward. Things are going to move more fluid with Dak healthy, but we'll see how long that lasts. So, yeah, we're making prognostications. So I like that you went so deep into that.
He'll be in a boot before mid-season.
All right, so then I have Cowboys 11-6. I got the Giants at 10-7, so just behind them. I think the Giants are going to have a really good season. They're going to improve by only one game, but that's pretty good. And then the Commies, unfortunately, 5-12 for the Commanders. For me, I have an issue with Sam Howell, but I don't have a lot of faith in EB. I know he was with the Chiefs and all that, but I just I think he did well as an assistant. I don't think he's going to make out well as somebody who's actually calling the plays. If anybody doesn't really know this, as somebody that's been locked into the Chiefs for a long time, EB never called the plays. That was always Andy Reid. So fuck off with that.
Because pre-production, Adam and I were talking about that very thing, and one of the things that I mentioned was it's very interesting dynamic that's happening here. If EB can coach up Sam Howell, and the Redskins actually do very well this year and make the playoffs, he will become a head coach almost immediately.
Hands
because
down.
then everybody's going to say he did it not only with Pat Mahomes with all the talent in the world, but he did it with fucking Sam Howell, right?
Out from under Andy Reid's coattails.
But if Adam's right, and they shit the bed this year and go 4 and goddamn,
and I'm right,
4-13 or both
5-12.
He said he was even worse than you.
Even worse. Right.
So,
fair enough.
If you guys are right, and it's a total shit the bed situation, and Jacoby Brissett has to come in and be their quarterback, then the entire staff of Washington is fucking gone, and the new ownership is going to bring in a whole new thing.
I believe that.
And they're going to go after hard for either to trade up and get some of the guys coming out next year, or they're going to trade for a superstar quarterback. But they're not just going to sit around and do nothing. They didn't pay $6.5 billion for a franchise to continue to suck.
Yeah, no, this is kind of like the interim group. You know what I mean? They're just like, we'll make this work for now.
It's interesting. Like, if they make the playoffs, it's going to be hard to jettison those guys, man.
It's not going to happen, bro.
No.
It's not going to happen.
Right. Hey, I'm wearing right. So I know better.
Exactly. So, let me just put it this way. Last year, all three of their competitors in their division made the playoffs. That's very well likely to happen this year. They're going to lose 6 games. They're going to lose 6 games right there.
And we're going to get to the next part of the one. There's a team in the West, because that's who's next. When we get to my prediction on that may kick the Giants or the Cowboys out of that slot.
Well, by all means, sir, set it up.
Be ready to go on the West?
Let's do it.
Oh, I got San Francisco. They have so much offensive firepower that I could take them to a 13-4 record.
Probably.
Period. I mean, so the question for me is, can they get further past the Eagles, which is all that's left for them right now? And so to me, it comes down to, these are the two best teams. It's San Francisco and the Eagles, and then it's everybody else. And there's nothing different coming into the season to suggest otherwise. So, and not all the Lions talk and all the other bullshit. It is bullshit. These are the two best teams. Talent-wise, it's ridiculous what both of these teams have. And I didn't like San Francisco's draft too much. But at the end of the day, we're going to get to the NFC Championship game. And if you're going to tell me that Brock Purdy or Trey Lance is going to be Jalen Hurts, who's already been there and done that, I'm going with him. That's all I'm saying. That's it. But Seattle is the team I'd rather talk about. I think Geno Smith finally got his chance and is that goddamn good. I think Seattle had a great draft. They made some great offseason moves, and I think they are in a position to step up and knock the Giants out of that spot and actually take that playoff spot away from them. And if not from them, steal it away from Minnesota, who I think is going to come in second behind the Lions. But if there's a team that's going to knock somebody's dick sideways, it's definitely going to be Seattle. I don't see any issue with that at all. The Rams are coming in third. Rams, just like Tampa Bay a few years, the year before them or so, they went all in, and a lot of these guys are gone. They have Sam Darnold, they have Cooper Kupp, they have Eckler, and they have Matthew Stafford, and outside of that, they have fucking no one. Their defense is porous. All they have is Darnold. They don't have any offensive help outside of Cooper Kupp. That's why he catches 500 passes a year, because there's nobody else to throw the damn ball to. And they had a shit season last year. They would have done a little bit better had Stafford not missed most of the season, but they still wouldn't have made the playoffs. I see them on the decline, and I just can't see them righting their ship and doing a whole lot better than middle of the road, like 8-9, 9-8 kind of thing, and missing the playoffs. And then the Cardinals, well, shit, they're the worst team in the NFL. They're just garbage. There's no help on offense. Even if Kyler Murray was healthy, he'd be running for his life, which he spent his whole career doing. If I was Kyler Murray, I would under no circumstances play this year. I would find ways not to play and then get traded the hell out of there and go somewhere where he might be able to survive.
It should be pretty easy. Yeah,
the Bidwells have always been hard.
He's already missing games.
Oh, yeah. He's probably not even going to start until game 6 or so. Coming off of last year's injury to the ACL. So he's in bad shape, man. That organization is in truly bad shape. They kicked Kingsbury out, and they didn't bring in anybody better than him. It's a total disaster. The Cardinals won 4 games last year, and they're going to struggle to do that again. They will have the first pick in next year's NFL draft.
I agree.
See, this is my team that I think is taking NFC. I got 49ers. I got them going 15-2 this season. Say what you want, but it's Big Cock Brock. That's my guy right there. He is
Big Cock Brock.
He is taking over this season. No, I think, and if it's not him, it's Trey. Like, one of them, I believe, is the answer for the 49ers. And like he said, they have all the power weapons you can think of. I'm calling it now. Christian McCaffrey will lead the entire NFL in rushing touchdowns this season. Christian McCaffrey's a beast, always been a beast, will be a beast. He's amazing. You know, George Kittle, like, it's just a super powerful team. I got them taking first in the NFC, followed by Seahawks. I have the Seahawks at 9-8. And no disrespect to Geno Smith. I am a big Geno Smith fan. I think he's great. I think last season he came back and showed what he's made of and what he can do. DK Metcalf is hands down one of my favorite wide receivers in the game. And that guy himself is a beast. I would not, you couldn't pay me $1 million to stand in front of that man and take a hit. I think he's good. But I have them at 9-8. And honestly, I have them missing the playoffs. I have them at the outside of the wild card, just missing it. I have Rams at 4-13 and Cardinals at 4-13, but that tie, that pointless tie going to the Rams. Me and Ed were talking about this before. Ever since the Rams won that Super Bowl, on top of getting rid of majority of their weapons, the little bit of weapons they have kept, there's been absolutely no fire under any of their asses. I think they've kind of just played like they don't care, or like they're going for last place to get, that number 1 pick.
Oh, they're cashing in on their contracts.
True that. And then Cardinals.
All of the above.
You guys have already said it all about the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals are the Cardinals. They're not going to be anything special this season. I see them getting 4 wins, and I see all 4 wins being lucky wins. I don't see anything special coming out of the Cardinals.
Like they blocked a punt returner for a touchdown late in the
game. Something that you're just like, what the hell? But they're definitely 4-13. They're not winning more than that. I'm going back to the whole Kyler Murray thing. The season ends. He's requested a trade. Calling it now. He's not going to be with Cardinals next season. So this is last season there. Cardinals fans, enjoy him. He's out.
I like that, dude, because I actually think you're right. I didn't think about that until now, but he's not happy there. They're not happy with him. There's been a lot of tension there. If you recall the last contract, they put in some shit about how he has to read the playbook a certain amount of hours. And like, that was a whole big slap in the face. Like there's been a lot of contentious shit going on there. Bunch of consternation.
That's the shitty stuff that the Bidwells do, right? They did that on purpose because they were trying to smear his name so somebody else wouldn't come in and try to get him and overbid, right? So
Right.
that's just shitty Bidwell stuff, man. That's why I hate that franchise.
So recently they came out with the players' scorecards for the best franchises. And each team player, they scored their current team, based on everything they knew about the league, but they scored it on all kinds of stuff about the facilities, the coaching, the training staff, the weight training staff, the doctors, everything, and the travel, the food, you name it. And the Arizona Cardinals were the fucking bottom of the barrel. Absolute worst, 32 at the fucking bottom. So what's that tell you, dude? Nobody's fucking happy there. And especially not somebody who thought he was a fucking, number one stud quarterback, first round draft pick. Yeah. So with that segue, I have the Cards at 4-13 as well. Yeah, they were piss poor last year. They'll be even more piss poor this year without their star quarterback. I think the Niners are definitely going to obviously going to take this group, this division at 4. I think they're going to be the best in the NFC at 14-3. But I also predict that they won't make it through the playoffs. They'll go to the NFC Championship, and the Eagles will best them. Just like you said, Ed, the Eagles they're road worn and they're fucking ready, bro. And the Niners have been disjointed for so long that they're such a juggernaut. They have such a cast of stars, but it's just like it's so many moving parts that they kind of start to fall apart sometimes when it really comes important. The Rams, honestly, I think the Seahawks will be 10-7 and they'll get the wild card. I think the Rams will be 10-7 and they'll get a wild card. So I think three teams are going to the playoffs from this division. And then the Cards at 4-13. So there you go. That rounds out all of my wild card teams too. So I think the Eagles win the Super Bowl. I think just behind them in the NFC Championship are the Niners. And then the other teams I think that go to the playoffs are the Cowboys, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Lions, and the Saints. So with that,
I got 49ers in first. 49ers getting that bye week 1 of the playoffs. I also have them and Eagles and that NFC Championship, but I have 49ers going to the Super Bowl this year. But I got 49ers in first. I actually got Vikings at 2, Eagles at 3, and then going in as well, I got Saints, Cowboys, Giants, and Lions.
nice.
So I'm going to have a caveat on this. So I would say, generally speaking, that I would go with Eagles, Dallas, the Giants, Lions, Vikings, 49ers, and New Orleans. Caveat is the Seahawks. The Seahawks either going to kick, if the Seahawks make the playoffs, which I think they can do, then it's probably going to be Dallas or the Giants that are going to end up out of the playoffs. But the Eagles 100% are in. Either the Cowboys and the Giants are 100% in, maybe both of them. The Lions and Vikings are both going to be in my estimation. San Francisco, that's a no-brainer. San Francisco without a quarterback. They could probably play without a quarterback. Like they could let Christian McCaffrey play quarterback and they'd still go 12-5.
He could be quarterback and running back. They could actually play with one less player.
Right. He can just chuck it to himself or hand it off to himself. So that team, they're not going to. I love Big Cock Brock. That's the best thing I ever heard. So
yeah. Purdy's going to be Purdy. That's all I'm saying.
He's Big Cock Brock. So I think I'm still not even sure in San Francisco who's going to come out ahead. I liked what I saw from Brock Purdy.
Oh, it's fucking Purdy, bro. Come on, back down.
but they have way more money invested in Trey Lance. They just do. We're talking about hundreds of thousands to tens of millions.
Fuck Trey Lance.
And NFL, Trey Lance went 4-0 until he got injured.
He don't look party, though.
Purdy only played in 5 games, and the offense was dumbed down like a motherfucker, and they let the players do what they do. That will never fly in a whole full season.
Yo, he looked purdy. He looked purdy as fuck. That's all I'm gonna say.
Because he has Christian McCaffrey and all these other guys to give the damn ball to. So now, Brock, I'll tell you what. I'll eat my goddamn shorts if Brock Purdy ends up a top 10 NFL quarterback at any time in his career. Mr. Irrelevant, that never happens to. Tom Brady was in the 5th round, and that was a miracle. So, no, I'm not buying it. But I do think that it doesn't take a great quarterback to lead a team that's friggin' loaded. But that's why they'll lose to Philadelphia in the playoffs, because they don't have.
Can we identify which pair of shorts we're talking about?
Brand new ones. So that would be my only caveat that the Hawks get in. I never bet against Pete Carroll unless he has the opportunity to hand the ball to beast mode to win the Super Bowl at the 1 yard line, and he doesn't fucking do that.
Hey, that was I was happy.
So bizarre, dude.
So we have time here. So I got some other things that I'd like to throw out here for just this is little stuff here. My MVP for the NFC, I'm calling it Jalen Hurts. My rookie of the year, Bijan Robinson, because what else is Atlanta going to do but let this kid run for like 1,500 plus yards? They ain't got nobody else. My defensive player of the year, Joey Bosa in San Francisco. I mean, who else is going to be? I mean, he won it last year. He's going to win it this year.
Contract
and my
year.
And my offensive player of the year for the NFC, not the MVP, but the offensive player of the year is going to be Christian McCaffrey. And that's just for the NFC, not for the whole NFL, just for the NFC.
Yeah, it's hard to fight, man. Those are all good calls. If I were going to predict that would be pretty much all of them.
I didn't pick a defensive rookie of the year, but if I was going to go with defensive rookie of the year, I'm going to go Jalen Carter with the Eagles. I think he's going to be an absolute monster all year long.
But that's another problem with the Eagles, right? They drafted well too.
Oh my God, their draft was A+, man. It was insane.
It was insane. Yeah. And so
how do you get Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith? Fuck. They were both on almost everybody's board. They were both top 10. And then Nolan Smith dropped. And then they got to snatch him up.
Yeah.
Just crazy. And Jalen Carter never should have made it to the Eagles at number 5 to begin with.
No. But he did. And now he's going to be angry.
Chip on his 350-pound fucking shoulder. Oh,
God damn it.
Yeah. So, Eagles. It's going to be hard to score on that team. Jeez. Really hard to score on that team.
Yeah, they're a monster. But if one team can, it'll be the Niners. Because they got all the firepower. That's some wild shit.
And they got Kylie Ringo, too.
True story.
So, yeah. I know you got some predictions. Make your prediction, bro.
I mean, my first one, which isn't a prediction, it's just a fact at this point, which we'll talk about next time, but the AFC is way tougher and way harder than the NFC. So I'm excited when we get to that one.
There's no doubt about it. And all of us have a team in the AFC. Mine's going to the Bowl, but whatever.
This is also a random one. So real quick, how do you guys feel? How do we think Justin Fields is going to do this season? Because I know my guess, what I'm saying is off probably, but what do we think Justin Fields is going to do?
I don't think Justin Fields is going to be a world beater, but I think he's going to take a step forward. I don't think Chicago's a very good football team overall. But I think what he did last year was remarkable on a team that was really shit. And they improved their team quite a bit, and they really improved their defense, which means they can get him back, get him on the field quicker and keep momentum going. Because they'll be able to stop some people this year. They're not going to the playoffs, but I think they're going to improve, and I think that But Chicago is going to be better off for having Justin Fields. He rushed for over 1,000 yards last year. But if he keeps playing like that, to be honest, at some point it's over. But he made Cam Newton look like second place to him the way that he played last year. Can he improve his throwing? That's the big question.
Fields might look like the bright spot on such a dim squad. That's what I'll say. I don't think the Bears, I mean, we all predicted them bottom of the barrel. I got them at 5-12. Yeah, for me, the Bears are not going to do well, which means Justin Fields isn't going to do well. That's just how that works. I mean, he probably 3,000 yards, probably 20 touchdowns, and as many interceptions. That would be my guess.
But if he adds another 12 touchdowns on the ground, another 1,000 yards, that's a pretty spectacular friggin' year.
Yeah. If that happens,
because that's what he did last year.
Right. But what I mean by 20 touchdowns is total.
Well, last year he had 36 total touchdowns.
You're right. So
between running and throwing.
I personally believe I don't see Fields do anything super special this season. I mean, his running game was great last season, but as you said, his throwing, that needs to improve a little bit. And the fact that they just added on DJ Moore from the Panthers,
right.
You have that weapon, use it. But I don't think he will. I think he's going to try to run too much. I think he's going to let it get to his head what he did last season. And Cam Newton was proof of that. Cam Newton had a fantastic rookie season. I know Fields, this wasn't his rookie season, but he had a fantastic season. He was all the hype, and then he came out and he wasn't really the same person. NFL has put Fields at.
But Cam went to the Super Bowl a couple years later and won league MVP.
The NFL put Fields at like the 5th or 6th best quarterback, and I don't know. I don't see it. He's got a great running game.
You mean the entire NFL?
The list I saw, they put him pretty high up there.
Who did that?
NFL.
They're idiots.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to get to his head. I don't think it's going to be anything special.
There's 12 better quarterbacks in the AFC.
I know what goes on. You know what goes on in the offseason, man. You got to get those clicks.
Are you saying top 5 in the NFC? Is that what they were saying?
Well, there was some type of way they sold it to you.
5th or 6th, even in the NFC, I guess I got to look at that list. I'm still not 100% sure. But I think he's going to try to run almost every play again, and I think he's going to get hurt or.
I think young quarterbacks with that level of athleticism do run a lot because they're more comfortable doing that. They see the first down, they want to keep the team moving forward, and they do that. What they miss oftentimes when they can't look downfield when they're moving around like that, and they don't have good vision downfield, is they don't see the open receiver that could have scored a goddamn touchdown instead of just getting the first down.
Or a 30-yard gain instead of a 15-yard gain,
right,
you know what I mean, or whatever. But
because they want to do everything.
That's why I've always loved, as a homer, loved Mahomes. Mahomes' number one goal is always the throw. He's always looking for the line of scrimmage. Can I stop just short of that and throw the ball? That's his number one goal. And that's not just something he says. You can see it when you watch him play. He's always looking to throw. He will tuck it and run, but that is the very rare play. Like he would rather act like he's going to run and then throw it to somebody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I will say on that documentary or whatever you want on that Netflix series, Quarterbacks, I was really impressed with him. Just in general, which I don't want to get too deep into that because it is AFC, and I know we'll probably talk a lot about him next time. But no, him and Kirk Cousins. It was a really good show in general. Just to kind of see their lives, what they go through, and all the crap they deal with. Oh, and Marcus Mariota, I guess I can't forget about him. He was on there too.
So yeah, I guess Mariota is he's with the Eagles now, huh?
Is that where he went?
Yeah, I think he's a backup for the Eagles now. So
he hasn't had the best of careers.
No. It's funny. His best moments have been against the Chiefs, unfortunately. Oh man, he actually threw a pass. It bounced off somebody's hands, and he caught it and ran it in for a touchdown against the Chiefs. Caught his own pass for a touchdown against the Chiefs. That son of a bitch.
Go back to the 49ers. That's the stuff that Christian McCaffrey would be doing.
How does he think he is, Doug Flutie?
Right? I mean, what the fuck?
So I think the NFC is obviously the weaker of the two sisters here, and They have two truly elite teams, and that's the Eagles and clearly the Redskins. I mean, it's the Niners and
A
the
team that no longer exists.
I mean, that's pretty clear. They have not added a whole lot to their team from last year. They have the same players that they did when they played the Eagles and got absolutely throttled in the NFC Championship game. They didn't just get beat; they got fucking blown out. They got crushed. And Brock Purdy looked like, well, what Mr. Irrelevant draft pick would probably look like in an NFC Championship game. Do I think that the kid showed a lot of moxie? Yeah. Do I think that if you're going to put him in a game against Jalen Hurts and the big difference between those two teams in offense and defensive firepower is their quarterback, and Brock Purdy's going to come out on top? I'm saying no to that. That's why I think it's going to be the Eagles. I think the Lions are a team to really look out for. I can see the Lions making the NFC Championship game by just catching somebody at the wrong time. You know, if Jalen Hurts is hurt or can't play in a game and that's who they match up with, or the San Francisco 49ers, and out of nowhere, Purdy gets hurt and can't play, and Trey Lance didn't play, say, all year long and now has to play against a team that's clicking. So weird shit can happen in the playoffs all the time. But I suspect that it's going to be the Niners and the Eagles. And I just think that the Eagles are still the better football team only because their quarterback position is so solid. I mean, Jalen Hurts literally was in and was a whisker away from the NFL MVP last year, and he may very well win it this year. Brock Purdy is not going to do that. Can he manage the game? Like the old Baltimore Ravens quarterback. What the hell was his name? I don't know why it's escaping me. Took him to a bunch of Super Bowls.
Let's
What
the fuck was his name?
But
it almost sounds like a verb.
But if Joe Flacco. But if
Flacco. Let's get wacko with Flacco.
Flacco with Flacco. Cock and brack and wacko Flacco. But if he can just do that, because here's the thing about Joe Flacco he was just a game manager because of that defense during the regular season. And
he had a big fucking arm, though.
He has the highest Q rating in playoff history with 10 or more games played in NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking crazy. With the highest winning percentage.
That dude had a big ass arm, though, dude. He could launch that thing.
He was like 6'5", 240, man. He could throw the ball 100 yards. It was crazy.
He was swinging.
And he played for Delaware fucking State. Like, what? the very scary football team called the Hens. So, but that's where I'm at on that. Conversely, the next time we all get together, we're going to be doing the AFC, which legitimately has 5 teams that could go to the Super Bowl next year. And
wait, what?
They have right, you Kansas City boy.
But you mean what? You said one wrong. I'm pretty sure you said 5. It sounds like,
well, I don't want to be arrogant and say that Jags are automatically going to go. But they're so loaded on the AFC side because in reality, they simply, out of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, they have 7 of them minimum. Probably 8.
5 of them are on the Chiefs.
And I think that, and of course, the guy that would have made it 3 for the NFC switched over to the AFC. That was Aaron Rodgers. So they're so loaded. And that doesn't even include guys like if Tagliavola can play a whole season without injury.
He's actually really good. That's pretty funny, right? Yeah.
I mean, Dak Prescott has a better shot of playing 17. Oh my God.
Oh, we're going to hell. We're going to hell.
But I imagine Sean Watson, look, the guy didn't forget how to play goddamn football, and he was an MVP guy before that year and a half layoff. I'm not judging him against what he did in a half a season last year. He's got a whole off season working with everybody, working with the new guys in and out. I suspect him to step up this year. Cleveland's going to be frightening, but there's so much talent in the AFC. When we get to them in a couple of weeks, that's going to be a hell of a conversation.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking really forward to that.
What you got, Adam?
No, I mean, I just agree. AFC is crazy. Not being like totally biased and stuff, but the AFC East, I don't care. Nobody said AFC East, scariest division right now, and all of NFL.
If they didn't have New England, they would absolutely be the scariest.
See, listen. Even New England. Look, we ain't gonna talk. We'll get into it when we talk about AFC. But I'm just saying. Look, New England isn't going to be as bad this season as everyone's projecting they're going to be. New England's going to put up a fight. We just got a new offensive coordinator. They're going to be all right. I'm not worried about it. I'll be optimistic. I got it.
God bless you, brother.
I'm like talking to you about Kansas City. Hey, you hear it? The Chiefs picked up a guy who retired 42 years ago, but he's coming out. He's going to play. I'm telling you, he's going to make the squad, and he's going to score 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, you're right. I could come up with a lot of examples from that. Like, I remember when Le'Veon Bell showed up in Kansas City. I'm like, Le'Veon Bell, and it's like, what? Why?
I was telling him about that earlier. I was like, Le'Veon Bell was going to rush for 1,500 yards and shit. It's crazy.
See, but
he's in Kansas City. It must be good.
I'm optimistic, but at least somewhat realistic because I wasn't excited about Matt Patricia or whatever the fuck we decided we were trying to do as an offensive coordinator last season. But now that we've hired Bill O'Brien, I actually have hope. If we can't do anything with that, then you know what? I'll just accept staying in fourth place for the next few seasons. We were on top for 20 plus. I'll accept being fourth for a little bit. But I believe having Bill O'Brien, because Mac Jones did something his rookie season. He was putting up numbers. He put up a great fight. Mac Jones was amazing his rookie season. But it was just, year two coming out. And
so was Kyler Murray.
I mean, that's true, but calm down. Hold on. But no, I don't know. Look, we'll talk more about that with AFC because I can talk about that for a while.
That sophomore slump is a real thing, man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nothing again. That organization, they just been at the top for so long. There's always a point you reach a breaking point. You have to do some rebuilding. Mm-hmm. That's just all there is to it. And that's just where they are right now, in my estimation. That's all. And the same thing's going to happen to Kansas City in 10 years or 20 years, whenever Pat Mahomes decides to leave and go to another team and win 3 more Super Bowls before he retires. That's just where the NFL is right now. When him and I were talking earlier, I grew up a Washington Redskins fans. This was a team that was in the playoffs almost every fucking year, went to Super Bowls in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, right? And then Dan Snyder bought the team, and everything went to shit. Oh. And that's why I'm a Jags fan now.
Fair enough.
So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Unlike you two homers, though, I think the Jags are gonna win their division. I think they're gonna do really well, but I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, fair enough. I think that the Jags are definitely on the they're definitely on the ups, man. I'm digging Trevor, and I'm digging obviously Peterson as a head coach, but
absolutely.
But we're going to cover that soon, so that's for another episode.
That's right, and we're coming up against it hard. So thanks for everybody coming in, like and subscribe. Adam, thank you for joining us. Adam will be back from when we do the AFC. He'll be there when we do our middle season forecast to see where we're all hanging at, what's happening in the NFL, and he will be there when we get to the playoffs. So Adam's going to ride with us all year long. So again, thanks everybody. We appreciate you coming out. As always, I had a great time. Got a last word, Chad?
Yep. Next week I will be in GA. Hanging out live right there in that image that you see. Only my little face will be there, and I'm looking forward to it. So, if you're watching this now, tune in next week because we're gonna have a lot of fun. It might get a little goofy, probably will. So, Anyway, with that, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Tune in again. We'll talk to you later. Peace out.
Yeah.